Good morning, friends. I hope you are all doing well. It's pouring rain here, so today we are going to stay mostly indoors. I'm almost out of homemade chicken stock, so I'm going to cook a whole chicken in the Instant Pot, and then we can can the resulting stock. And we can turn the chicken into a beautiful chicken Parmesan casserole. Now that I have a digital canner, I'm very excited about pressure canning. So we will pressure can the stock. And I have a 7-pound, well, almost 7-pound chicken here. And I have a rack in my Instant Pot. This is going to be just a pure chicken stock. So I'm not adding carrots or celery or anything like that to it. I'm not even adding salt. I do want to remove, are there any giblets in here? Yes, at the other end. No, there are no giblets in here. In you go. Now, the USDA says not to rinse or wash poultry before you cook it, because if you run water over the poultry, bacteria can be spread everywhere because the water splashes. And I'm going to clean up my mess here, and I will need to sanitize my workstation once I get the chicken cooking. Now, I'm going to add 6 cups of water to the Instant Pot. I boiled the water first just to save on time. And the chicken needs 6 minutes per pound at high pressure. So we are going to cook this for 42 minutes. Now I need to wash my hands and this knife, and then clean up my workstation. So today is Monday. It is supposed to rain every day this week except for Wednesday. And I have guests coming for dinner on Wednesday, so I want to take advantage of the weather and have dinner outside in the herb garden. So today I want to buy some flowering container plants that I can place out in the herb garden just to make the space look a little more inviting. So we will have a field trip in this episode. And while the chicken is cooking, I'm going to make a quick trip to the local hardware store. I need to buy pint-sized jars so we can can the stock. And here are the jars. I'm lucky to have a hardware store near my home. Now I am going to put the jars and the lids in my dishwasher so that everything is perfectly clean by the time we start to can. I'm checking my weather app, and it still says that Wednesday is the only day without rain, and that's the day my friends Jim and Ed are coming for dinner. Just in case the forecast changes, I'm going to clean up my dining room because we could very well end up eating indoors. This is the white green cloth. You saturate it with water and then you wring it out really, really, really well. And it cleans mirrors and other surfaces without streaking. Well, you see streaks initially, but that's because the mirror or whatever is wet. But now as it dries, there are no streaks. And it is terrific for dusting too. And to give this sideboard a little sheen, I'm going to rub it with a tiny amount of walrus oil. It's the same oil I use for my cutting boards. It's food grade. Walrus oil is mineral oil and beeswax and vitamin E oil. I need to polish this silver tea set, but not today. I need to fetch my vacuum. Like the rest of this house, the floor in the dining room is 200 years old. I hope to refinish it in the near future. I will be forever grateful to the enterprising soul who invented the cordless vacuum. And I think the chicken should be ready by now. So this chicken cooked at high pressure for 42 minutes, and then I gave it a 15-minute natural pressure release, and the chicken looks just beautiful, falling off the bones. Now, here is the stock, and we have to figure out how much stock we have. There's 8 cups. 2 cups in a pint, so that's 4. So I have 8 cups of stock here, which will give me 4 pints of stock that I can. I'm going to get cleaned up here, and I need the chicken to cool so I can pull the meat from the bones. I also need the stock to cool so I can remove the fat. And while we wait for that to happen, we can run to the local farm store. As I said earlier, I want to find some flowering container plants for the herb garden. And I'm going to put this out of the reach of my dog, Avery.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now, there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy.
We are home again, and the rain has let up. I can place the petunias and the zinnias in the herb garden. So I pulled the meat off the bones from the chicken, and believe me, I got a lot of meat. I'm only going to need 2 cups of this white meat for the casserole we're making later. But right now, I want to get cracking on canning the chicken stock. So my jars, lids, and bands are all clean, and I filled the jars halfway with hot water, and now we can put these in the canner to warm up. So we are on pressure can, and we want to set this for 20 minutes because that's how long it takes to pressure can chicken stock. And that's done. It says insert jars. In they go. And these are sitting on a rack. And I have 3 quarts of water already in this pot. And then we can put the lid on. Wait, where's the insert jars? That's done. Okay, so now it's warming them. It will take about 20 minutes for the jars to warm in the pressure canner. And while we wait for the jars to warm up, I'm going to gather all of the ingredients I need for the chicken Parmesan casserole. So I'm going to need 2 cups of uncooked pasta. Now, my friend Sean sent me this recipe, and he told me that he made it, and he and his family loved it. I think I might love it too. That's 2 cups. Then I need 2 cups of either diced or shredded cooked chicken. And this is the chicken that we cooked earlier. I've already shredded a lot of it. That's a nice thing about Instant Pot chicken. It shreds very easily, just with your fingers. And there we have 2 cups, or maybe slightly more, of the chicken. I need a 24-ounce jar of marinara. I'm using store-bought. 2.5 cups of either chicken broth or water. And I have chicken broth that I made a month ago and froze and thawed. And it is a much darker color because I added onion skins to that chicken. Garlic powder, Italian seasoning, and onion powder. We also need mozzarella cheese, shredded, and grated Parmesan cheese. I'm going to put all of this on a big baking tray so I can stay organized. Oh, we will also need, I think I mentioned it, breadcrumbs. We can put this right over here for now. The digital canner just beeped, so we know the jars are fully heated. So my jars are hot, my stock is hot, and we can start filling the jars. And I need to leave 1 inch of headspace in these jars. I should use a ladle. Hallelujah, I got 5 pints out of that. Now, I want to make sure I have 1 inch of headspace. Next step is to debubble the jars. After you debubble, you double check that you have the 1 inch of headspace, and I do. Next, I need to wipe the rims of these jars with a little distilled white vinegar. This is a very important step in canning to make sure that you get a good seal. Put on the bands, fingertip tight, and then into the canner. Now this canner has a regulator, and the canner itself will tell me when I'm supposed to put this on. While we wait for the next step on the canner, we can go ahead and assemble the casserole. I'm just measuring 2.5 cups of this chicken stock. So my oven is preheating to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 220 degrees Celsius. So I have a 9x13 baking dish here, and we are to add the penne pasta, the 2 cups of either chopped or shredded chicken, the 24-ounce jar of marinara, oven is preheated, the chicken broth, or you could use water according to the recipe, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, onion powder, salt. So that was about a ½ teaspoon of salt. And then I need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. We are to stir this well. And then we cover the dish tightly with aluminum foil. This goes into the oven for 30 minutes. Later, we will add some other ingredients. And my canner is almost ready for the next step. This digital canner has been counting down. We are 1 minute from having to put the regulator on. There it goes. On with the regulator. And then we push the forward button. And it's going to can for 20 minutes. Now, I mentioned earlier that I usually freeze my chicken stock, which is all fine and well, except I would then have to thaw the stock. The vegetable stock or beef stock or chicken stock, whatever. I would thaw it before I could use it, and that was sort of a pain. So it will be nice to have shelf-stable chicken stock that I can just place in my pantry. Now back to the casserole. Once it has finished baking for 30 minutes, we have to top it with breadcrumbs, 1/3 cup, mixed with 1 tablespoon of either melted butter or olive oil. I'm using olive oil. You know what? I think I want more than 1/3 cup because I am a free spirit. So our casserole has baked for 30 minutes. You have to remove the lid. Give this another stir. It smells wonderful already. And here comes the fun part. We need to add a bunch of cheese. Actually, 2.5 cups of mozzarella. And you start with 1.5 cups, which I'm quite certain is this much. Then a 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan. Then the remaining cup of mozzarella. And finally, the breadcrumb mixture. So traditional chicken Parmesan is breaded, so I think that's why we have added the breadcrumbs here. So this is chicken parm in casserole form. And then this goes back into the oven until the top browns. And the recipe writer said that if you want a particularly brown top, you first bake it for 10 to 15 minutes and then pop it under the broiler just for 1 minute. And here is the finished casserole. I did pop it under the broiler for just 1 minute. I do need to let this cool down a bit. And by the way, my digital canner is in the cool down mode. So once this has cooled enough, we can taste of it. So let's give this casserole a taste test. I'm very excited to try it. Oh, look at this. Oh, nice melty cheese. Wow, wow, and wow. The pasta is perfectly cooked. I love all of the seasonings in here. The onion, the garlic, the Italian herbs, all of that cheese, the breadcrumb topping, which crisped up beautifully. And of course, that lovely marinara sauce. This is a winner. This and a salad is all I need for dinner. I'm going to finish this dinner while I wait for the canner to finish doing its thing. Well, my pressure canner just dinged 10 times, indicating that the canning process is done. It's very exciting. So now I can remove the lid. Also remove the regulator. Can you hear the jars? They are sealing. And that, my friends, is a very exciting sound. I finally learned how to use this jar lifter properly. I had it upside down the last time, well, it was the first time I canned something. We canned strawberry jam. And the stock is still bubbling away. I will let these jars cool for 12 to 24 hours, and then I will remove the bands, check the seals, and put the jars in my pantry. And thank you so much for being here with me on this rainy June day as we cleaned and we canned and we casseroled. And I will put a link to the casserole in the description box below. If you enjoyed today's video, I hope you will give it a like. And if you would like to see more of what I have going on around here, I can put a couple of my other videos at the end of this one that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. I'll be back with another video on Sunday, and until then, please treat yourself very, very well. I can't wait to see you again. Bye for now, friends.